dazu noch ein bisschen der beste Opera-Ski-Sound, den Engelberg verdient hat. Nach der gestrigen mega Opera-Ski-Party im Festzelt ist das abgegangen. Für alle, die nicht dabei sind, kommen nächstes Jahr immer am Samstagabend. Die grosse Partynacht im Festzelt. Der eine oder andere hat sicher noch eine Karte von gestern Abend. Und tut die frische, kalte Luft ab und zu ein bisschen gut. Was gehört denn da dazu? Macht Lapalu vielleicht die Augen zu? Kann Lapalu Sternwald sehen? Sag mir, wie soll das gehen? Hodi, 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 hodi,
Eight, 9, 10. A very good afternoon. Apologies for a little late arrival on my behalf, a few technical gremlins. Welcome to FIS TV and welcome to Central Switzerland. The second of the competitions just a few minutes away, and just in the last minutes we completed the qualification with Germany's Felix Hoffmann winning that with 138.5 meters from gate 20. However, let me tell you that the wind has been every which way in the last couple of hours. A very good afternoon. Welcome to FIS TV. Welcome to Engelberg in central Switzerland for the second of our two weekend competitions on the big hill, the Großer Titlis. I'm David Goldstrom together with the FIS TV team. And it's been a really interesting morning and into the afternoon. The wind conditions have been really changeable here, and this might be a bit of a tricky competition with a little bit of luck needed as well. Well, we're in the canton of Obwalden in this lovely part of the world. Great for skiing, whether you're a beginner or whether you like something challenging. There's just about every sort of trail in this part of the world. Engelberg is really a tourist center. Some 5,000 people live here all the year round, but it really swells during the winter months. Well, if you were with us yesterday, you'll have seen Domen Preutz win for the second time here in Engelberg. This is where he achieved his first podium behind his brother Peter Preutz. And he's now won the last 5 in a row, looking to make it 6 in a row, which would equal for the men the all-time record. Many of those have done that before, and I'll come to that a little later. But the reality is that Domen Preelts is on a very hot streak. He really is dynamite, and he's matured, even though that may sound strange at the age of 26 to say he's matured. Really, this season, we're seeing him lift up from his World Championship triumph of last season into being a very, very special athlete. His brother, Petter, was a terrific athlete, winning the overall World Cup and also achieving the Four Hills title. And the way that Domen's going at this moment in time, he's going to be very much the favourite starting the Four Hills or Viessmann after the Christmas holidays. Never the biggest crowd, but a really good crowd. Atmosphere yesterday was terrific, and it's pretty good on this Sunday afternoon as well. Felix Hoffmann winning the qualification from gate 20. The young Polish athlete, Kasper Tomasiak, really good as well, 136 meters from gate 20. Stefan Embacher, the junior world champion, who had a tumble yesterday, he's okay, 132.5 meters. Johan Andre Forfang for Norway, the best for his country at 137 meters, and Stefan Kraft at 135. So the distance is terrific. The standard of the Viessmann supported World Cup of ski jumping since we began in Lillehammer at the end of November has been really, really high. And yesterday, absolutely no exception. Well, Domen Preelts will be hoping to emulate his sister, Nika Preelts, who came back to winning ways today in the women's second competition here, denying Anna Ström and Katharina Schmidt of Germany on the podium. It was not a day for Nozomi Mariuanova. She had a really difficult first round, managed to pick up in the second round to pull herself up from 14th to 6th, but not her particular day on this occasion. More about the ladies when we get to the interval, but just at this moment in time, we'll concentrate on the guys. So 50 athletes have qualified through as we get ready for the first of our two competition rounds. And of course, there are those who miss out from the qualification. Unfortunately today, we've had to say goodbye to Roman Kudelka, who won here in 2014. The Czech, along with his younger teammate, Mr. Riegel, also failed to qualify. Jules Chevet of France didn't make it, and neither did Ben Bayer from Germany, coming out of Continental Cup. Mackenzie Boyd-Klaus, another poor day for the Canadian. Giovanni Bresadola, also not in the competition. Tate France of the United States, a best season last year when he ended up in 22nd place in the World Cup rankings, but he's struggling at the moment, and he's not in the competition. And these are the important ones as well. Vladimir Zagravsky disqualified. Remember, he's recently got a 4th place finish, and that was his best ever. Daniel Vasiliev disqualified, and Spulba of Romania also disqualified. Now, Vladimir Zagravsky, perhaps the most significant, the ski width wrong, and that's the reason that he's missed out. Daniel Vasiliev, the leg length incorrect. And Spulba of Romania, the ski width wrong as well. So that's the reason for those disqualifications. Well, here you can see the World Cup standings after yesterday's victory by Domen Preelts. He's now over 200 points clear. That's 2 full competitions ahead of everybody as we get ready for today's event. Today, competition number 11 of the 30 in the Viessmann-supported World Cup of ski jumping. And these are the men who are looking forward to perhaps victory, perhaps a personal best. We'll have to wait and see. Jason Colby there, one of the men who achieved a personal best just yesterday. Said he was really happy with his performance, and so he should have been. And not forgetting yesterday after that performance to thank both his parents and his coaches for the support that he's received from them over many a year.
Sandro, we are about to start with today's competition. Unfortunately, the wind is quite unstable. We had some problems during the qualification some minutes ago. And yeah, most likely we can expect also some breaks due to the wind situation. And it looks that this competition most likely will be also affected by the wind.
Yeah, today is like that. Try to keep a short interval and try to catch the best condition. We know that today will be not easy.
Okay, Sandro.
Well, there you have it. The situation described by Sandro Petile on the left of your picture there. Borek Sedlak, his assistant race director, on the right. And the wind at the moment is very similar to yesterday. Absolutely from behind in every one of the 8 instrument measurement sections at about 2.5 meters per second. So that is stronger, about twice as strong as it was yesterday. And it has flicked and changed, and occasionally we've had front wind, then suddenly back wind. So, as Borek Sedlak said, a little patience might be required to make sure that everybody has a safe and fair flight. Well, here we are in this lovely part of the world in central Switzerland. The closest big town to where we are is Lucerne. Lovely little railway journey up here. The railway station, as you look at the picture, just off to the left there, you can just see it in the top left-hand corner, and it literally is 200 meters from the hill. It's one of the easiest ski jumping hills to reach. Very good organization yesterday, very good preparation of the hill, and the Swiss had a fine old time here yesterday. Felix Strunz and Sandro Hauswirth, Kilian Payer and Simon Amann all doing pretty well. Simon Amann, his 20th place finish, the best of the season. And here's the first man on our way. Remo Imhoff, Switzerland in red. Gate 20, but well short of the calculation line. Remo, only 100 meters. That's 25 meters short of the calculation line on this big hill, where the hill record is at 144.5 meters. The calculation line at 125. And the deductions for coming in so short of the calculation line means that he gets only 15 points for distance. Remo, he's better than that, but we've yet to see him at his best. Next man up will be his Swiss teammate, Yannick Wasser. Yannick, just 21 years of age, 34th here yesterday. That's not a personal best. He's finished top 25, achieved that in Vickersund on the ski flying hill last season. Bine Ortic, the head coach, with a really encouraging Swiss squad. And the wind outside the corridor of tolerance, you can see that gusting 3-4 meters per second, and that automatically means that we have to take a pause. It's very early days, but this could be one of these competitions where we get one round rather than two. So your first effort may really have to count, and you can see really gusting up here. You get not just the general weather, but you get the local weather in the valley here. Engelberg's a lovely, lovely place. Famous initially for its Benedictine monastery, the Abbey. with mountains really surrounding the whole of Engelberg, rising up to some 3,200 meters, particularly the Titlis mountain, which is to the south of the city, or the town, I should say. And there, where the blue carpet and the red carpet meet, is the calculation line. And then the hillsides, you can see that just below the other red line, which is near the hill record of 144.5 meters. Domen Preutz and Ryoyo Kobayashi own that jointly as Yannick Wasser. Not bad. Short of the calculation line, but not by that much. 4 or 5 meters. Just climbed a little bit as he came off the table there, and actually that affected the amount of speed that he was earning coming down the in-run, which is healthy, 94 kilometers. A little bit of instability on the landing, but Yannick's young, relatively inexperienced, 10th in the Junior Worlds 2 seasons ago, and here's a man who was, well, second in the Junior World Championships 2 seasons ago, Eric Belshaw for the United States. Tate France, his teammate who did so well last season with 3 10th place finishes, really out of form at the moment and has failed to qualify, excuse me, for the croaky throat. And he's disappointingly on the sidelines now. And here you can see this very, very difficult wind. There's no chance of releasing someone in these conditions. Eric Belshaw, just 21. An excellent 8th place on the big hill in Planica 2 seasons ago, his best ever. That came as a bit of a surprise, but it also tells you what he's capable of achieving. The American-Norwegian cooperation continuing. Tore Snell, the head coach for the combination of the Americans and the Norwegians. And of course the Americans looking forward to Jason Colby, who had a superb lifetime best just yesterday, finishing Jason Colby in 7th place, a lifetime best. Eric Belshaw out again on the orange light at the moment, not the green. And the green goes, 10 seconds to leave the bar. And that's, well, 15 meters short, 107 meters only. It's difficult to make predictions, particularly at this early stage of the first round, as to who will and who won't qualify. But a little disappointing there for Eric. And now another youngster, 18-year-old Hector Kapustik for Slovakia. Great to see the Slovakians represented in the competition. Good determination and a really good effort from Hector. That's encouraging. Whether he qualifies or not, the intention was good. Only 3 meters short of the calculation line. There'll be a lot of backwind compensation. In fact, 18 points, which is the equivalent of getting an extra 10 meters. And it's not a bad effort at all. 16s. Yes, those are fair marks from the 5 judges. Estonia, Switzerland, Japan, Germany and Austria, the countries from which the judges have been drawn for today. And there you can see this fickle wind changing in direction. And also look at the arrows when they come in from both sides into the center of the hill. That is really nasty. You really wouldn't want to be coming off the end of the table into that level of turbulence. And this is where the jury really have to keep their eyes on. Stefan Wolf is the technical delegate, effectively the chairman of the jury. Ralph Schneider is the chief of competition. He has the local knowledge here. It's not a particularly cold day, but the wind chill is a factor, and there you can see what I was mentioning right at the beginning when you joined us, that the wind has really been every which way today. And in these conditions, you really have to focus. And there you can see not only the direction, but also the strength of the wind, up to 4 meters per second. 1 or 2 gusts even bigger than that. And this is really difficult to manage.
It was not the first jump, it was the third jump.
Of course, this is the last competition before the Christmas holidays. But many of the boys will stay on here in Engelberg for some extra training. That's a common factor. And then, of course, after the Christmas holidays, we look forward to the Viessmann, the Four Hills, Oberstdorf, Garmisch, Innsbruck and Bischofshofen. And here on FIS TV, we're delighted to say that we will bring you all the qualification competitions as well as the actual competitions. Qualification, of course, being absolutely vital, particularly for the Four Hills. And Lovro Kos out. Lovro, who's been really struggling. He's a talented young man. 4 podiums, including 2 victories to date. Victories in Lahti and Lake Placid 2 seasons ago. But this has been a difficult beginning for him for the season. The Slovenians, of course, first success with Ance Lansek winning 2 competitions, and since then Domen Preots has really taken over. Little off balance coming off the table, but that's again only a few meters short, and mercifully he's okay. Very quickly up, 118.5 meters. Let's just have a look at this again as to the cause for the tumble. Very much on his toes, and then leans back and in and can't really save himself. Remember, he's accelerating, taking off at 94 kilometers, landing at 105 or thereabouts, and trying to keep those skis down away from him. Yannick Wasser leading early days. Luca Roth didn't qualify yesterday, this young German, in it today. Just about up there for 120 meters, which was the distance that Yannick Wasser, the young Swiss boy, had. And Luca Roth, junior world silver medalist some 6 seasons ago. Yet to score any Winter World Cup points individually. None of the athletes you're seeing at the moment have scored any winter points so far. Next man up, the junior world champion in Canada, in Whistler in 2023, representing Finland, Vilho Palasari, outside the top 40 yesterday. Another youngster, only 21. But his best in the Winter World Cup competitions came in Zakopane 2 seasons ago when he was 23rd. Vilho, a real hope for the revival of Finnish fortunes. The great Matti Hautamäki was a winner here in days gone by. That's also short of the calculation line. The most successful athlete ever on this hill over the years also came from Finland, the legendary Jani Ahonen. 5 victories, 4 runners-up spots and 3 third-place finishes between 1993 and 2004 for Jani Ahonen. So Luca Roth of Germany edging out Yannick Wasser for the lead by a metre, and now Kilian Payer. First points of the season yesterday, finishing 29th. This former world bronze medalist on the big hill in the Bergisel in 2019. Then a whole series of injuries and illnesses. Runner-up in Nizhny Tagil in Russia in 2019 in the World Cup. That's his best to date. Now 30 years of age, could really do with Kilian at their best. The Swiss, who I think will put together a team for the World Championships, which is really encouraging.
Bei Kilian machen wir keine Ausnahme, auch er muss zurück. Und dann ein zweites Mal eine Startposition einnehmen.
Well, that's the SUI tolerance violation there by Eric Belshaw. That's also disappointing. What this does tell you is we're always disappointed when we see disqualifications, but it does tell you that the new regulations and the application of the new regulations is really strict. Matthias Happele is the man from the International Ski Federation responsible now for the practical checking at the events, and they are really doing a fantastic job. The scandal last season of the soup manipulation with the introduction of illegal amounts of material, it really set the whole subject to light. And like many sports, you look for the edge to gain every advantage you possibly can, but in this case it was absolutely necessary for the sport to, as it were, pull itself together and make sure that we had fair and safe competitions for all concerned. And of course, one of the major differentials between what used to be and what is today is the limitation of suits. Only 9 suits allowed to be used by all teams, by each athlete for the whole of the season. And that's also a step towards sustainability and cost.
We have a period of pretty strong tailwind, which is up to 5 meters at the moment. 1 minute before it was, or 2 minutes before it was too much or too strong headwind. So yeah, the conditions are pretty unstable, and we need to catch every single spot when it is fair and especially safe. But obviously this round will take quite a long time.
Today you have to be extremely patient and try to catch all the spot. We have no other option today.
Ja, Sandra.
1903 hat der damals gegründete Skiclub Engelberg begonnen, hier auf der Talseite kleinere und größere Chancen in unterschiedlichen Positionen zu platzieren.
Well, that is the situation, that it's very tricky, and Borek Sedlak has no choice but to make sure that we wait. The wind just calming a little still from behind, but just as I say that, there's a gust of 4 meters just over the knoll. And you can see that in the upper part of the hill here, there's reasonable cover from the trees, but then it really opens out and it becomes very, very difficult.
hat Sepp Zehnder den ersten Schweizer Sprung über 102 Meter geleistet, nämlich 102 Meter.
And it could, as I said, be one of those days when we'll get one round of competition through. Qualification was tricky, and it would be really sad to lose a competition. We did lose a competition, of course, in Ruka in Finland, but that's been reorganized, not in Ruka but in Lahti in the springtime. We'll have an extra competition to make up the number, so at the moment we're still going to have 30 competitions for the men.
Das war 1984. Und dann 2013 der Beschluss, die Anlage umfassend zu modernisieren.
Well, I mentioned the women's competition, won today by Nika Preutz, fourth victory of the season for her. And that closed the gap a bit between her and Nozami Maruama, who was, if I remember, only sixth today. Maruama with 810 points in the women's season-long World Cup, ahead of Nika Preutz, 715 or 16. And then Anna Ström of Norway on the podium today in third place, ahead of Canada's Abigail Strait, who's having a really, really good season. Lisa Ada, the best for Austria, in fifth place, ahead of the improving Heidi Trasserud. Back to the guys, and fingers crossed that we can make some progress here. Kilian Payer, very experienced, so this won't have phased him. Building up the speed here. Just under 94 kilometers. Luca Ruth, the leader at the moment, with 120 meters. This isn't quite as far. And 118 meters, the distance for Kilian. Transition looked, I think, a little early. I wouldn't swear to it, but third place only in the points yesterday, but maybe not today. And now to a much younger Swiss, Juri Kesseli. Better today, didn't qualify yesterday, but encouraging to see him in the lineup. Only 20. Not bad at all. Just lost a little bit of control, but he's very tight to the calculation line. Almost, but not quite. 124 meters, the longest distance. And the backwind compensation, 27 points. This is really difficult. Juri, top 5 in the Junior Worlds last season in Lake Placid. Yeah, that tight. Ilya Mazernik for Kazakhstan. Another youngster who didn't qualify yesterday, so encouraging that he's made it through today. Nicely done. That's the nicest we've seen so far. Best style, got the calculation line. In fact, he's kissed it at 125 meters. And there should be, I would hope, a 17 out of 20 from the style judges. I think it deserved it. He's got 1, he's got 2. And he is the new leader. He's one of several athletes who have got a yellow card for violations. 2 yellow cards means a red, and a red means that you can't compete in the next competition. Kazakhstan lead. Andy Urlaub, United States. And they're going to be reliant on Jason Colby, who had that dynamite finish yesterday, that personal best. It hasn't gone their way. Not for Eric Belshaw, not for Tate France, and now not for Andy Urlaub. This could be interesting. Personal best here yesterday. 25th place, his highest ever finish in a World Cup. Only 19 for Alex Strunz. Nice, coming off the table. And that's 4 or 5 meters short of the calculation line. Not quite as far back as that. 122. Frustrated. 20 points worth of backwind compensation. And only 6 at the moment. One Swiss to another. Sandro Hauswirth, another young Swiss who got a personal best yesterday, 26th place. Lovely. New leader. Really nicely done. He was 29th in Klingenthal, 26th yesterday. He's really going in the right direction. The backwind's still there, but a little quieter. Not so much compensation, but the style is good. The distance is good. And that's a handsome advantage. Mizernik of Kazakhstan got so much more backwind compensation that in fact we have joint leaders at the moment. And now 20th yesterday, which qualified him to go to the Olympic Games to represent Switzerland, the quadruple Olympic gold medalist of 2002 and 2010. At the age of 44, Simon Oman, as hungry as ever. I have always appreciated Simon Oman. He's a man who is very bright, a real improver. Went to that very good university, the Zurich Engineering College, graduated there, restaurant owner. 23 World Cup career wins. The one thing that is missing really is victory in the Four Hills for Simi. Unlikely to happen, to be perfectly honest, but it would be a wonderful way to end his career. And Sandro Petile looking really a little stressed, I have to say. Simi, with yesterday's 20th place finish, just outside the top 40 in the Viessmann World Cup rankings for the season, and the wind being very fickle and difficult at the moment. Watch for the Telebart landing. Does he achieve it? He didn't in the first round yesterday, but he did in the second. That's close to 130. Now, star marks, I think it'll be more 16s than 17s. But the distance is okay. The wind a lot quieter, only 7.4 points of backwind compensation. Compare that with his Swiss teammate, Sandro Hauswirth, 15.3, or Mizernik, 26.8. And because of that reduction in backwind compensation, he's down in 7th place. Kevin Bickner for the United States. Can he raise their spirits? That's not bad from Bickner. Bickner, now 29 years of age. Outside the points yesterday. He's had a 21st place finish in Klingenthal and 3 other top 30 finishes. And Kevin Bickner into 5th place with 131 meters, the longest distance, but again the backwind compensation not so strong. Paweł Wasek now for Poland. On the podium in Lahti last season. Nicely done, really nicely done, and we've got a window of opportunity here for the athletes. That's over 130 meters, 134, and this deserves to take the lead. Beautifully balanced, quick over the skis, very stable on the touchdown. 18s, look at that, and 19 from the Austrian judge. highest and lowest marks taken out to avoid the anomaly. And Paweł Wasek of Poland into the lead. This is Maciej Kok for Poland. The wrong side of the calculation line. Well, he got points. He was top 15 in Viessmann on a home Polish hill, but since then really hasn't prospered. Paweł Wasek leading by almost 4 meters at the moment, ahead of Sandro Hauswirth and Ilya Mizernik of Kazakhstan, locked together in second place. And now 24-year-old Rok Oblak for Slovenia. 2 respectable results in Falun in Sweden. Now, of course, we started the season in Lillehammer in Norway, then we went to Falun. That's early December, and the problem for Rok is that the last 4 competitions, Klingenthal, Viessmann, he's been a little bit out of form. And the Polish challenge continues now with Dawid Kubacki, another of our former winners here in Engelberg. Jan Hurl, Daniel Stefanik, Stefan Kraft, Piers Paschke, Ryoyo Kobayashi, Andrzej Lanasek, Halvor Granerud, all winners here. Other names who've won here: Andy Widhersel, the head coach for the Austrians in 1997. Peter Preutz won here in 2015. And now Sakutaro Kobayashi. Now much better today in qualification. Not so in competition. Sakutaro, mid-20s. Top 15 in Vikersund on the ski flying hill last season, his best ever. And so far this season, a 17th place in Lillehammer, his highest finish. No change at the top of the leaderboard. And now another Japanese challenge, Yukiya Sato, massively more experienced than Kobayashi, who's just preceded him. The backwind very strong. Huge amount of compensation, over 30 points worth. Really difficult. Well, on occasions we talk about a competition being a lottery. You need a bit of luck, and today you certainly need a bit of luck. Antti Aalto will be next. Here he is for Finland. Just outside the top 20 yesterday. And generally that's where he's been finishing. He was top 20 in Falun on the normal hill and also in Viessmann, but other than that he's been finishing closer to 30th place. Calculation line, I think, close to it, just past it. So where he ends up now depends on the amount of compensation. Top 10, but I'm not sure where. 7th place, in fact.
Es ist der 7.
And that puts him about 6 meters behind Pavel Vasek of Poland at the moment. Now, making progress, this 32-year-old Japanese jumper, Tomofumi Naito, 27th yesterday, but an excellent 6th in Klingenthal, which is a lifetime best for him. And I would think that that's just the wrong side of the calculation line. He looked to be just, yes he did, 1 meter short.
...124 meters, 124 Meter für Tomofumi Naito.
However, he is part of a revived Japanese team. No longer do we just talk about Ryoyo Kobayashi. Nico Kitosaho for Finland. Horrible day yesterday. 30th, just 1 World Cup point. Much better than that. And that's the proof of the pudding. 7th in Oslo a couple of seasons ago, his best, and 138 meters. The wind really calm. Opportunity taken here. And the style marks will be fairly solid, 17.5, maybe even 18. And new leader. Oh, and the reason he's not the leader is the fact that he only gets 4.7 points of compensation. Vasek had 12.2. And that makes the difference of the 4 meters. This is RTI Grove for Estonia. Around 125, 126 meters. Igro, a little bit further. Outside the top 15 yesterday. And when Borek Sedlak and the jury get this moment where the wind is relatively calm on a quick release, although having said that, it's gusting up again. It's also beginning to turn over the knoll. Now, Jason Colby, an excellent, brilliant, lifetime 7th place finish yesterday. And you can see what's happening with the wind. It is all over the place. Jason from Steamboat Springs, the high-altitude American resort, which first came to note really because of its fantastic production of great Nordic combiners. Todd Lodwick, Bill DeMong, all trained there, Todd Lodwick in particular. 19th in Viessmann was a good indication of Jason Colby's improvement. And in addition to yesterday's 7th place and the result in Viessmann, 5 top 30s. And you may well look to the heavens there, Sandro, because it is in the lap of the gods at the moment, this first round. Really unfortunate that we run into these weather conditions. It was calmer, well, when I say calmer, it was a little more manageable earlier on.
Die besten 30, die kriegen allesamt Weltcup-Punkte.
And those stop notices you see are set automatically so that if the wind and the strength and the direction violate the limits set, there's an automatic stop. So Pavel Vasek of Poland leading early on, but a long way to go in this first round. And there you get a lovely picture of the hill. In the main street of Engelberg, it's really Christmassy, all the hotels because it is very much a tourist center, all decked out for the Christmas holidays. So Jason out again. He's got enough experience to know how to deal with these difficult conditions. Nonetheless, you'd hope that he gets a fair crack at the whip here. The wind a little quieter, but it is turny. Little bit of housekeeping. Alex Insan of Italy not involved in the competition today, and that's because he got 2 yellow cards, and that means I think he'll be ruled out of Oberstdorf for the opening round of the Viessmann, which is really sad. 4 hills, real expectation. There was a big scramble to buy the tickets, and we'll be looking for crowds well in excess of 20,000 at each of the venues. And there's no doubt that if Domen Preels continues, there'll be a large delegation, shall we say, of Slovenians who will make the pilgrimage for the 4 hills. It's a mighty competition. It's also a fantastic opportunity to reunite with friends from year to year. These are lovely pictures. It just gives you an idea of what it's like to come to a ski jumping competition. There's a really good atmosphere. You can have a drink, but it's very friendly. And the wind at the moment in an updraft direction, completely opposite to where we started. So of course what they can do is alter the gate. We can come down from gate 20, but you can see there that updraft. And now where we had 3 meters over the knoll, it's 1.5 meters, so it is very, very different at this moment, but it could change back to where it was momentarily. And of course, you could have a situation here where if you let someone go in the front wind and they got a massive distance, which is really possible. And now I'm seeing 4 or 5 meters of updraft. This is very tricky.
As a headwind, so we have up to 4 meters per second headwind at the moment, so we are totally out of the corridor, totally different situation, new situation at the moment. And the jury decided to use 1 4-jumper when we have a chance to jump, and then to continue with the first round when the wind is turning back to tailwind.
Okay. Any information about the next 10-15 minutes?
No specific information based on weather forecast. It looks still the same. The only thing what we can do in this case just to catch this spot when we can jump.
Okay, let's try to go like that. Okay, Sandro.
Well, you can sense there a bit of disappointment in their voices, and I can understand that, because as I look at my computer screen now, I can see gusts of 5-6 meters per second, and no choice now. The boys really need to go back into the warm-up room. And at this moment in time, the wind direction and strength really here is uncontrollable. You cannot defeat the gods if they decide to give us these conditions.
Ja, meine Damen und Herren, wenn hier der Wind gerade noch so tut, wie eben kann und mag, dann gehe ich noch einmal zurück in die
The wind beginning to turn back to a backwind at the moment, but it's a cross tail.
Umfassende Renovation mit der ersten Mannschafts-WM. Ich komme gerne noch einmal zurück auf den ersten Schweizer 100 Meter Sprung über 102 Meter. durch Sepp und ein beflissener Kollege hat mich inzwischen aufgeklärt. Die meisten wissen das natürlich. Der heißt natürlich Sepp Zender, aber viele sagen ihm auch Sepp Zender. Und das kommt sehr drauf an. Und danke, lieber Kollege Röhle, für den Hinweis. Selbstverständlich sage ich auch gerne Sepp Zender. Also gut.
Well, it's good to see a mix of international fans. The Polish are amazing the way they support their athletes here, but good to see the German fans. They'll be really encouraged. Felix Hoffmann, who won the qualification yet again, leading the way, 138.5 meters from gate number 20. Now, can we get going again? It's been a long gap. There's an element of jeopardy here. 42 is Jason Colby. I think this is still very, very tricky to release him. I'd be rather negative, and I can understand it. You can see the shake of the head there.
Die Jury ist gefordert, die Athleten auch, und wir brauchen ein wenig Geduld.
Torres now, Anders Johnson, the two main men for the American coaching side.
Dass wir ja wirklich in der Position der Zuschauenden sind und das Ganze nicht selber tragen müssen, was hier für die Athleten abgeht.
Really tricky handling that big camera as well, the Jimmy Jib camera over on the right. You might have seen that momentarily. In these conditions, really, really difficult to operate that. The skill required, particularly in these windy conditions, it's really demanding. The Swiss fans, though, really encouraged to have Sandro Hauswirth and Felix Trunz and Yannick Wasser, as well as Simon Amann. And, of course, they've got Gregor Deschwanden to come, but Gregor really struggling at the moment. But really encouraging for them to have so many Swiss athletes qualifying and into the first round of competition. And Jason Colby, I think it's the third time he's been out on the bar now. The wind, well, maybe it's the commentator's curse. I shouldn't say anything. It's just as soon as I look at it and think it's about to settle, now we go. Now we go, but there's some strong backwind in the center of the hill here. Jason Colby, 7th yesterday. And way short, very tricky conditions. Over 25 points worth of backwind compensation. And, well, you can see 107.5 meters. And under normal circumstances, that wouldn't qualify him. So almost hero yesterday to maybe zero today. Piotr Jewa, 38 years young, 17th yesterday. He's been on the podium here in 3rd place in his time. Not bad. A little bit further than Jason Colby, well, about 10 meters further, to be honest. 116.5 meters. But it shows you the variation in fortune. Pavel Vasek, 134 meters, leading the competition. Ahead of Nico Kitosaho of Finland, joint second with Sandro Hauswirth, joint third with Ilya Mizernik, and now Kamil Stock. Another winner here in his time, Kamil Stock. 28 13, one of his victories. Camel stock in what we believe and sense and know is going to be his last competition season, the double Olympic big hill champion. Started the season in an encouraging way with 12th and 13th places in Lillehammer. And he's managed to get another 3 top 20s, but really in recent weeks hasn't progressed that much. But you sort of don't want to rule him out. Such a great athlete over so many years. First it was Adam Małysz in modern times who inspired the Polish boys. Then more recently it was camel stock, although Kasper Tomasiak, he talks about being inspired watching television and watching Adam Małysz. So camel stock to be followed by Gregor Deschwanden for Switzerland. Could be very close to a release. Suddenly the wind starts to strengthen again. On we go. So camel stock, 4 or 5 meters short of the calculation line. Now, what about the compensation? Because it's over 30 points. Where's that going to get him? And he's going to qualify. Because I can tell you now that Pavel Vasek, Nico Kietrosahos, Sandra Hausfield, Ilya Mazurnik, Camel Stock, Yuri Kessely and Luca Roth, and also Kevin Bickner are all into a second round, given that we get a second round. And Gregor Deschwanden, a jury decision to go down a gate. Interesting, when the wind, to me, looks very similar to where we were when we started the competition. Now this means that he gets gate compensation to add to any backwind compensation. Going down to, oh, in fact, going up, I beg your pardon, going up to gate 21. So it's a gate deduction. Well, Gregor's now in his mid-30s. He's had 6 podiums. But this season, he got a 10th place finish in Falun and again in Rücker, and we thought that the improvement in form was going to continue, but it hasn't. Comes from a very little village close to Lucerne. And now Jonas Schuster, a brilliant 5th place finish for this Austrian junior world silver medalist of 2 seasons ago. He really has rewarded Andy Wenzel with the faith he's put in him. And again, rock solid on the landing. This is very good, a lot of compensation points. 130 meters for distance. Star marks will be solid. Schuster's going to be right up there. And he's going to lead. Even though he's 4 meters short of Pavel Vasek, he's got 14 points more compensation. 144.5, and by just over half a meter takes the lead. Austria, and now Johann Andre Forfang. Solid in qualification, 137 meters. height off the table was impressive, and he's got there as well. 130, same distance as Schuster, or similar. Style is good, compensation marks are similar. In fact, a little bit more. New leader, Johan Andre Forfang. Fourth, the best he's ever finished here. The 30-year-old Norwegian. Never better than 10th in Klingenthal this season. Norway with the edge. And now Piers Paschke, a winner here in 2023, one of his 6 successes. 15th yesterday. The Germans will be relying on Philipp Raimund and also Felix Hoffmann. Just a reminder that no Andy Wellinger, no Karl Geiger, both of them badly out of form, and both of them away, hoping to be considered for the Four Hills. Forfang, Schuster, Vasek, the 1, 2, 3, and now Granerud. The double winner here in 2020. Did the weekend double. Two 7th place finishes in Klingenthal. Was maybe a signpost of better things to come, but yesterday down in 19th place for Halvor and short of the calculation line here. Forfang of Norway leading from Schuster of Austria, Pavel Vasek of Poland in 3rd place, then Kito Saho of Finland and Haus Wirth of Switzerland in 5th place, 5th equal at the moment with Misnernik. And this is Lindvik. Not bad from Marius. Not bad at all. He's got the meters. Maybe not the telemark, but he's got the meters. And a whole bundle of distance bonus points. 139 meters. That's 25 bonus points for distance. Not as much backwind compensation, and Lindvik into the top 5, 5 meters off the lead. And Naoki Nakamura now. Very good indeed from Nakamura. And suddenly we've got this opportunity, and that's high 130s. A little bit like Lindvik, he's not going to earn those telemark points for landing correctly. Instability there. Although, actually, there's a couple of judges, 17s, given him better marks than I anticipated. Kasper Tomasiak, 136 meters from gate 20. That was in the qualification. And that's respectable as well. Gate 21, that's over 130 meters. Forfang, Schuster, Nakamura. Now, whereas Nakamura didn't get the style points, this man has. That's a good touchdown. 18s, 19s from the German judge as well. And Tomasiak up into 2nd place. Timmy Zeitz, Slovenia. 11th yesterday. That's over 130 meters. Now Tomasiak, 131 meters. This is very similar. This would suggest that Timmy Zeitz is going to get some good points here. Could be right up there. And the reason he's only down in 8th place is the fact there's 15 points worth of backwind compensation, but he loses 5 because of the gate deduction. Sundal, Norway. Good effort. Chris Sundal. Very good weekend in Klingenthal in Germany, 5th and 8th. And this is another effort over 132 meters, more backwind compensation. Sundal will be competitive. Top 5, 4th indeed. Less than 3 meters off the lead at the moment. 2 Norwegians in the top 5 at the moment. And now Manuel Fettner, miserable yesterday, outside the top 40. Not to be. Manuel Fettner, who has succeeded on this hill, but not at World Cup level. He won a Continental Cup competition as far back as 2013 and another one here in 2024. So he has mastered this hill, but not at this level of World Cup. 123 meters, 10th place at the moment. And that's because he's got 34 points worth of compensation, which puts him 7 meters off the lead. Valentin Foubert for France. 12th yesterday, having had an excellent 4th place lifetime best in Klingenthal. And that followed a 5th place in Rucker. And he is really flying the flag. 2 10th place finishes also in Viessmann. This is the breakthrough season for the 23-year-old. So once again, an enforced pause. Whether we get a second round now is a big question. It might well be. The wind will be kind and calm. Valentin Foubert, 11th place in the Viessmann World Cup rankings. Fantastic improvement this season. The wind now, believe it or not, a crosswind from left to right on your television screen, but just turning all the time. Well, I'd say this is the trickiest afternoon we've had so far this season. But it's a real test of control and nerve from the jury and using all their experience. So Johan Andre Forfang leading the competition from Kasper Tomasiak. Johan Andre, 6 World Cup victories so far in his career, as we have another gate change. But the risk the jury take here with changing the gate is that as soon as they change it, it might be a question of changing it back again. So Foubert out. Green light on. And here we go. Fingers crossed. Well, you could really feel and see the turbulence. He's done remarkably well under the circumstances. That's close to the calculation line. This is really, really difficult. And the bad news for Valentin Foubert coming out of gate number 20 is that he's outside the top 30. And that means no second round if we have one. Now, Stefan Engelberg had a tumble yesterday. Looked really good in qualification. 132.5 meters. Again, very positive off the end of the table. Fantastic. Two-footed landing, but who cares? He's got the massive meters, 145 meters. It's a hill record by half a meter. He has eclipsed the hill record set in 2016 by Doman Preus and by Ryoyo Kobayashi in December 2018. 145 meters. Virtually no wind deduction or no gate deduction, no wind compensation. And Engelberg goes into 7th place, despite the fact that he's broken the hill record. 4 meters off the lead, and the junior world champion, amazing. What a comeback after yesterday. Andy Wenzel delighted. It's a good one. Well, he's top 10 in the World Cup rankings, and that tells you why he's top 10. Now, another winner for Austria here in seasons gone by, Jan Hurl. I say seasons gone by, it was actually last year. Jan Hurl, a winner here. Backwind is up a little bit, and Jan Hurl short of what's required now. 124 meters. Has he got enough compensation to keep him in the event? That's the big question. Just about. Jan Hurl 17-1 with the bookmakers to win. Now here's the man who's really been commanding this hill. Winner of the qualification at 138.5 meters. And Felix Hoffmann down when it matters most. Now that's the same distance as Jan Hurl. More backwind compensation. Got the telemark. Will qualify. And there you can see the difference. That extra wind, gate 19. Apologies for not mentioning that. It means less in run. It means that he's got an extra 5 points to add to the backwind compensation, and that's one of the reasons why Felix Hoffmann is up into 3rd place, only a couple of meters off the lead. Daniel Schoffernig, like Jan Hurl, a winner here last season. One of his 9 successes. Again, the compensation is really what I'm looking at. Only a couple of points. And that's going to affect his ranking. He's got the meters, he's got the style, but he hasn't got the compensation. 28th for Daniel Schoffernig. And we only need 30 to go into the final round. Stefan Kraft, 135 in warm-up. And Stefan Kraft around the calculation line as well.
bei 125,5 Metern. Ist einen halben Meter drüber.
So much more compensation than Schöffenig. And that's what's going to save Stefan Kraft. Top 10, 4.5 meters. Thank goodness we have the computer to work this out. Stefan Kraft just behind Nico Kitosaho, who's dropped to 9th place, and now Ren Nikaido on the podium here. That's okay, he will qualify. Thanks to the backwind compensation. Where he'll be, I'll tell you momentarily. An excellent third yesterday to back up the second places in Ruka and Klingenthal. And Ren Nikaido, 17.5, 18, decent mark, 6th place. 3 meters off the lead only. 4 to go. Philipp Raimund for Germany, with his teammate Felix Hoffmann in 3rd place. Philipp, who was 4th yesterday. That's really nice. Nicely done, and he's competitive. The star marks have got to be 18s or better. Over 130 meters in the tricky winds. This is a challenge. Philipp Raimund, 2nd and 3rd in Wiesbaden, 3rd in Falun and Klingenthal. And he leads the competition. He takes the advantage away from Johan Andre Forfang of Norway by just under a meter. 90 centimeters. Germany with the edge. Maybe he didn't expect it, but he's got the advantage. 3 to go, 2 for Slovenia, 1 for Japan, and it's Andrzej Lanasek. Victorious in Falun and Ruka, but a little off the boil since then in Klingenthal. Now, this is all down to compensation. 130, that's okay. Now, it's got about 13 points worth of gate and backwind compensation, and that's kept him in the competition. Just outside the top 15, I would reckon. 18th place. And that's about 7-8 meters off the lead. Ryoyo Kobayashi, 3 times a winner on this hill. The bookmakers offering a generous 11 to 1 for him to win here today. But once again, the wind playing up here. As it stands, Philipp Raimund of Germany winning this competition ahead of Johan Andre Forfang, Kasper Tomasiak of Poland in 3rd, and Felix Hoffmann of Germany in 4th. Jonas Schuster 5th at the moment for Austria. Then Chris Sundal ahead of Ren Nikaido. Nakamura in 10th place, Stefan Embacher, the holder of the new hill record at 145 meters. Now almost 5 meters off the lead, Stefan Embacher. 2 to go. Ryoyo Kobayashi 6th yesterday. Started the new campaign so well with a victory in Lillehammer. 3 other podium finishes to date. 36 times an individual Winter World Cup winner at the age of 29. Engaging Kento Sakoyama, eagle-eyed on the computer screen here, watching for the moment that he can confirm release. Ryoyu pretty calm. And this is as bad and as difficult as it's been. It literally is everywhere. And yesterday, Ryoyu Kobayashi faced a similar delay, and that doesn't really help. 2 to go, Ryoyu Kobayashi and then Domen Preutz, who today will be bidding for a 6th consecutive victory. Now in the Men's World Cup, Ryoyu Kobayashi, in the 2019 season, he managed 6 in a row, 6 successes. Gregor Schlierenzauer in 2009. Likewise, Thomas Morgenstern in 2008. Matti Hautamäki of Finland in 2005. Jani Ahonen in 2005 as well. Havo Granerud in 2021 had 5 victories, which is where Domen is at the moment. Sven Hannevald, first man to complete the Grand Slam in the Vierschanzen. 5 consecutive victories. Adam Małysz, 5 in 2001. Another man who was a winner here in Engelberg. Andy Goldberger in the mid-90s. 5 consecutive victories in the Winter World Cups. And Ryoyu being very cool. Likewise, Domen Preutz in the background there, sporting the golden Viessmann bib as the World Cup leader. And the wind is still very difficult. Well, we have got a plan for the final round. Whether we get it, who knows? But first we've got to finish the first round. And Ryoyu Kobayashi out again. Now, how difficult is this? Green lights on, here we go. Back wind, couple of meters over the knoll. It's not bad. What can he do with this? That's an excellent response from Kobe. That's over 130 meters. Star marks will be solid. They'll be in the 18s. They've got to be. Really well executed. And the legs straight about half a meter off the table there. Timing very good. This will make him competitive. Top 5, 4th place. And just a couple of meters off the lead. Philipp Raimund continues to lead ahead of Forfang. Tomasiak in 3rd place, and now the World Cup leader, Domen Preutz. His young sister, Nika Preutz, successful earlier today in the Women's World Cup. And once again, the wind beginning to be mischievous. Robert Hagota on the right there, the head coach. So that's the state of play, and you can see there, minus 1.6, well, minus 1.8 is just a meter. So just a meter between the top 3. But as I said right at the beginning, this is a day where you need a bit of fortune, a bit of good luck. Although, to be fair, Raimund, Forfang, Tomasiak all executed really, really well. Okay, Domen Preutz now out and waiting. It's been a fantastic campaign so far. Five wins, 3 podiums. That's in 11 competitions. And go. Well, yesterday he was only third at halfway, but he came back to win. This is his bid to set himself up for a 6th consecutive victory. And he doesn't let himself or the Slovenian fans down. Absolutely on the money. Now, that distance is right up there with Philipp Raimund. In fact, it's a meter further. Now, style-wise, timing is good. Quick over the skis. Rock steady during the flight phase. Let's have a look at the touchdown. Spacing is good. Solid there. Got to be 18s. Backwind compensation is going to give him the lead by 90 centimeters. And Preutz, Raimund, Forfang, Tomasiak, those 4 are separated by 2 meters at the end of the first round. And Domen Preutz, who got his first podium here 10 years ago, marches on. Slovenia, Germany, Norway, Poland, Japan, all represented on the top of the podium. 9 points back, that's about 5 meters of deficit. 18 points, that's 10 meters. And Sato, the last to qualify. But I'm afraid all of these guys, no points today, I'm afraid. But it's been a really difficult afternoon. And disappointment for Eric Belshaw there as well, being disqualified. And that was incorrect suit tolerance size that caught out Eric Belshaw. So the top 3, Johan Andre Forfang at 130.5 meters. Philipp Raimund, 132 meters for Germany, at the moment in 2nd place. And Domen Preutz, here he is. The execution, the transition, fantastic. 133 meters from gate 19. 5 points of gate compensation, 17 points of backwind compensation. And just to correct myself, we have joint leaders, Preutz and Raimund, on 150.7 points. And so we have joint leaders at the halfway stage, with Forfang and Tomasiak in 3rd and 4th, and Ryoyo Kobayashi completing the top 5. Now, 2nd round should be in about 10 or 11 minutes, wind permitting. Well, there's the plan. So just while we check things out, we'll take a little pause here for the final round. And fingers crossed that the wind will allow us to get started and complete.
Bis dann gibt es Pole Sounds, Après-Ski-Hits zum Mitsingen, zum Mitbrüllen, zum Mitklatschen. Damit wir schön warm haben, bis es dann eben losgeht. 8 Minuten mit dem Finale am Alpine Skiing.
So here in Engelberg, these are the 30 men who've qualified for the final round, going in reverse order, wind permitting. And this is going to be a really fascinating second round. Now, the reason I say that is because there's only, believe it or not, 11 meters separating the top 30 and only 7 meters separating the top 10. Given the wind conditions and the situation we find ourselves in, this could be really interesting in terms of a bit of fortune or a bit of misfortune. So there is a possibility that if someone really lays down some big meters here, they could really move up the table and go from a low position to some really big points. It's one of those afternoons. Now, the wind conditions at the moment are really frustrating. We're gusting 4 or 5 meters per second. And in all honesty, there is the reality that we might have to face the fact that this competition will be decided by the result in the first round, in which case Stoneman Preelts would win his 6th consecutive competition, and that would make 6 in a row, and he would join an illustrious group. The problem with the wind at the moment is not only the strength, but it's turning, it's changing. Mostly cross backwind, cross tail, but sometimes we even get front wind. Well, you can see for yourselves how difficult this is. And this is a real tough call for the jury here. So we're almost at the appointed minute.
Die Vorspringer sind bereit, alle Athleten sind bereit und Sie, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, Sie sind erst recht bereit. Denn jetzt kommen wir zum Finale des Engelberger Weltcup-Wochenendes 2025. Der letzte Durchgang. Und der letzte Durchgang, der bietet die maximal mögliche Spannung. Wir haben 2 Springer ex aequo.
Well, fingers crossed, Yukiya Sato, 30 years of age, very experienced to get us underway here in these tricky, difficult conditions. Representing Japan, 11 meters off the lead at the end of the first round. And Yukiya having already to be a little patient here. Sato, 2 victories in the Winter World Cups over the years, but some 5 years since those were achieved. And Kento Sakoyama says, no, just relax, take a pause. Yukiya, 23rd here yesterday, 17th in Ruka, his best result of this season so far. Hasn't really picked up from that Ruka result. Out for the second time of asking. RTI growing the wings, waiting for his turn. He'll be next to go through the compression onto the table. Sato into the air. And those are healthy meters. over 130 meters. So this is what I meant at the introduction to this final round, that there are some who will have luck and there are others who will have misfortune. Short of 120 meters the first flight, but this is so much better. 264.6. This is going to be interesting. Now, Igro, only 0.1 of an advantage over Sato from the first flight. And that's pretty good as well. Over 130 meters, similar distance. In fact, the same distance as Sato. Little bit of front wind overall for Igro. Whereas Sato, some back wind, but relatively quiet compared to what we have had. And Igro stays behind Sato. Yannick Wasser now. Great to see this young Swiss in the points. Yesterday, outside the top 30. 10th in the Junior Worlds in Planica 2 seasons ago. And this is really encouraging to see a young Swiss in the points. Great for the fans. Top 25 in Vikersund on the ski flying hill last season. So many friends and family. By the way, the Preotzes, well, Nika's here, Domen, of course, but also Sene Preotz, the middle brother. He's here as part of the commentary team. Arti Igro into second place. Same meters as Sato. There was only 0.1 of a point between them at the halfway stage, but Sato with an advantage because of the backwind compensation and the front wind deduction for Igro, 3.5 meters ahead of Igro. That's how this wind can affect this competition. A long way to go in this second round. Now, quite often in the evening, the wind will calm down, and it has calmed a little bit now, which is why Yannick can come out in that distinctive red suit for the Swiss. There you can see he was 5 meters short of the calculation line first time around. And there's the target, 140.5 meters. That's 4.5 meters short of the new hill record. That is really a demand for such an inexperienced athlete as Yannick Wasser. And what the jury have to decide in these conditions is whether they actually do have a measure of control. Boy, is it breezy. It really is breezy. Here we go, Yannick Wasser. Absolutely super. Delighted for him. That's almost as far as Sato and Igro. He's got the telemark landing. overall, the instruments are suggesting a majority of a front wind, which is a deduction, which means that he can't overtake Sato or Igro. But it is World Cup points for Yannick Vassar. That's not a bad result. Maciej Kot, he's worked so hard to try and get back to the sort of form that he had in 2017 and 2018. 2018, when he was a member of the Polish Olympic team that took a bronze medal in the Olympics in Pyeongchang. And that's the indication of that front wind. And the wind strength dropping, but the direction changing. Who knows how this competition is going to end up? We could see some really long distances here. An 18, of course. We started at 20, so there's now 10 points of gate compensation in favor of the athlete to cancel out any front wind deduction. Maciej. Short of the calculation line again.
Die Anlaufposition, die wirkt sich dann natürlich aus. Seine Weite 121,5 Meter, 121.5.
Well, he's got a few points, but
91.4K.
not really much compensation. He will drop down the order quite a way. Now Anti-Alto could really do with a confidence boost. Needs a bit of good fortune. Hasn't yet found the key to this season in terms of really competitive performances. And that's short of 120 meters. The back wind has come back. So when you add the gate compensation to the back wind compensation, it's about 30 points worth, which is about 15 meters. Add that to the 119, and that would make it 134. And when you do that, you can understand why he's suddenly gone into the lead. Kevin Bickner, United States now. Target isn't even the calculation line at the moment, but he's way short. Alto prevails. Next up, Germany's Luca Roth, who didn't qualify yesterday, didn't get any points, but today at least he's in the top 30. Luca. First points of the Winter World Cup season for him. 114 meters though, they're going to be very small points. And from one youngster to another, Yuri Kessler of Switzerland sliding out onto the bar. Yuri didn't qualify yesterday, this 20-year-old. This man who was 5th in the Junior Worlds last season. Kessler, who got a couple of points in Lillehammer right at the beginning of the season. This is the second time he's in the top 30. And at the moment, Anti-Alto with 119 meters and all those gate and backwind compensation points, still leading Kessler up into 3rd place at the moment, just behind Sato of Japan. And the thumbs up is that he knows he's going to get more than a single point. And now Jan Hurl. Now here's a man who could really make a difference if the conditions are okay and he nails this.
Aber Jan Hurl bereits wieder den Startbalken runter.
Excuse me. And the gate goes back up because of the return of backwind. So Jan Hurl, we've got down to gate 18. Is this good or bad news for Jan?
Neuer Versuch für Jan Hurl. Die Ampel läuft und
We haven't seen the consistency that this man can bring to the competition. That second place in Lillehammer right at the beginning of the campaign, still his best so far. Well, as I've said on a few occasions, it's fair, but it's not fantastic, and it needed to be fantastic. Not 130 meters. 127. Star's okay. Compensation from gate 19 gives him 25 points worth of compensation, and with his advantage over Alto puts him into the lead by some 7 meters.
Das gibt aber im Moment doch denn die Führung. Kann mindestens seinen Rang aus dem ersten Platz.
Big test here for Camel Stock. Not to be. Jan Hurl from Alto. Stock with the compensation points, and his advantage goes into second place behind Jan Hurl, all of 5 meters behind him. And Andrzej Lanasek now, can he change things? The green laser line gives you a very good guide as to where you need to be to take the lead in the competition. That is a little bit further than Camel Stock by 2 or 3 meters. And it is good enough to take the lead away from Jan Hurl, but not by much. Less than half a meter. And Andrzej struggling at the moment, Lanasek. Falun and Rucker were good, 6 top 10s also good, but Klingenthal was a real disappointment. And only 9th yesterday. And Lanasek to be followed here by Ilya Mazurnik for Kazakhstan. 18 years of age, a lifetime best of 25th. That was in Ruka last season in Finland. So, are the gods on his side? Because if they are, he could be on his way to a personal best. Mazurnik and Lanasek separated by literally 0.2 of a point, so your big toenail, or the length of it. This is a real big question for Ilya. Just outside the top 10 in the Junior Worlds last season in Lake Placid. It's a decent attempt, but it's not enough. Short of 120 meters by a good 2 or 3. So maybe at the end of it all, it won't be a personal best. With so many good athletes to come, he'll drop down outside the top 5. But still World Cup points for the Kazakh. That's encouraging, so I don't want to be too negative about it. And Sandro Hauswirt personal best yesterday for himself and for Switzerland. 26th place here in Engelberg for the 25-year-old. Now, backwind is strong. Good effort. But 120-ish. So relying on the compensation points, and they're not going to be enough to boost him up the table. Andrzej Lanasek will still lead. And in fact, Hauswirth below Mizernik in the rankings in 7th place. Manu Fettner. Now this is the man who on occasions can spring a surprise. Olympic gold medalist. Not today though. Two-footed landing, short on distance, will tumble down the order, and Manu Fettner not having a fine time. 13th in the World Cup rankings before this day began. 7th in Falun, 9th in Lillehammer and Klingenthal. So the ability is still there for the 40-year-old. And 2 times a winner of Continental Cup competitions on this hill, but today he's not his day. Now might it be Timmy Zeitz's Slovenia versus Slovenia. He's going after his teammate Lanasek. Oh yes, no question about that. He's outdistanced Lanasek. He's over 130 meters. He's put a telemark on the end. The points are good. The compensation is really helpful. And Slovenia are first and second. Zeitz takes over from Lanasek. The world champion of Planica 2023, 290 points. So clearly we're going to see someone break the 300 barrier. Mario Lindvik now. Marius Lindvik, I should say. His advantage over Zeitz, a meter. So you can see the target 125.5 in these adverse conditions. Thank goodness for the computer, because it's impossible to work it out otherwise. Timmy Zeitz, 11th yesterday, 8th in Lillehammer, 9th in Klingenthal, his best 2 of the season so far. How far will this pull him up the table, I wonder? So we go back to gate number 20. 20 is where we started. So the gate compensation is eliminated. We're down to just the backwind compensation or front wind deductions. So Marius Lindvik, who's also been successful on this hill in Continental Cup competitions. That won't do either. But 30 points worth of backwind compensation. 15 meters to add to the 118 makes it 133. And suddenly Lindvik's going to be around the top 5. Where, I'm not sure, but in that sort of territory. 4th place. 11 meters behind Timmy Zeitz. Stefan Kraft. Can he pull something out of the bag here? No, is the answer. So not a day for Stefan Kraft, another Engelberg winner. No 47th individual victory today. Just that one success in Falun, runner-up in Klingenthal, 3rd in Lillehammer for Stefan Kraft so far. But he's got to be a man for your shortlist for the 4 hills for the Vierschanzen. Sixth place with the compensation leaves him 12 meters off the lead. Timmy Zeitz climbing all the time. Nico Kito-Saho looking for a season's best, or even a personal best. Not bad. That's not far off 130. 128. So it's about the compensation, 16 points, 8 meters. And Kito-Saho just misses the podium into 4th place for Finland. 12 to come. And it's the new hill record holder next, Stefan Embacher, the junior world champion. 145 fantastic meters in the first round. Is he going to do it again, I wonder? Oh, certainly is. The power is enormous. 140 meters. Again, no telemark. So 15s and 16s, which costs him, well, at least 6 points. To be conservative, we'll call it 3 meters. But of course, he's got 15 meters worth of bonus points in terms of distance. Stefan Embacher, 290.1 points, but that's only 0.1 ahead of Timmy Zeitz because the compensation was so much less. Paweł Wasek of Poland. Is this going to be a pick-me-up for him? He could really do with it. Yet to finish in the top 20 this season. Well, that's 13 meters short of Embacher, but that much more compensation. This is so difficult to calculate. Wasek into 3rd place. Stefan Embacher for Austria ahead of Timmy Zeitz. Paweł Wasek of Poland into 3rd place ahead of Andrzej Lanasek off the podium into 4th for Slovenia. Then Jan Hurl completing the top 5 ahead of Nico Kito-Saho. 10 to go. And this is going to be fascinating because the last 10 are covered by literally 7 points, about 8 meters. Or let me just correct that. 7.3 points. So less than 4 meters covering the top 10 as the junior world champion occupies the winner's circle, the new hill record holder, 145 meters. And this is going to be fascinating now. Naoki Nakamura to get us going. Ren Nikaido on the podium yesterday in 3rd place here. Chris Sundal, 2 top 10 performances in Klingenthal. Jonas Schuster, a personal best just 24 hours ago. Felix Hoffmann won the qualification. Can he win the event? Ryoyo Kobayashi dropped down to 6th yesterday. Kasper Tomasiak looking for a personal best. Johan-Andre Forfang looking for his 7th victory. Philip Raimund never has won one of these, and Doma Preutz looking to make it 6 in a row. So 4 meters separating the top 10. Naoki Nakamura to get us underway. Nakamura, 29 years of age, on the podium in Ruka in 2022. 9th and 11th in Wieswa, 5 top 20s. That's his record for the season so far. Looking for a season's best here. And that's a cracking attempt. Over 135 meters. Really good from Nakamura. Very good indeed. The execution was excellent. Now it's down to the compensation. 9 points, 5 meters to add from gate 20, third place. He had 136 meters. Remember, Stefan Embacher had 140. And the gate change, 20 to 19, will bring in gate compensation for the athlete because there's less season run to work with. And it's Ren Nakaido getting ready. Ren Nakaido, who, as a result of yesterday's third place finish, has moved up to 5th in the overall World Cup rankings, 2nd in Rucker and Klingenthal, 3rd here. 4 top 10s to go with that. It's been a revelation season for him. Only 24 years of age. And you can see Nakamura, Nikaido, Naito, Ryoyo Kobayashi. The Japanese have got a really good team together this season. Oh yes, absolutely superb. Now he's nailed the style. This might even get 19s. He's got the distance, surely. Challenging Stefan Embacher, and the difference is all about gate compensation. Ren Nakaido, backwind a couple of meters, plus the gate compensation. It's good, but it's not quite enough. Ren Nakaido into a podium position, and Stefan Embacher is in the lead by 10 centimeters ahead of Zeitz and Nakaido. Sundal, Norway. That's not bad. Chris Sundal. Knocking on the door is Chris Sundal. 5th and 8th in Klingenthal. A very good weekend for him. Not so strong yesterday, down to 23rd. This bit of a recovery. Still 7 to come. 5th place at the moment, so well, we'll see whether he gets into the top 10. Jonas Schuster now. 5th yesterday, a lifetime best. Oh, and right on the green line. Austria versus Austria. The junior world silver medalist versus the junior world champion. Now, Embacher, 140 meters, Schuster, 126. But with 27 points worth of backwind compensation plus the gate, Austria go 1 and 2. Andy Windhösel will be delighted. Schuster ahead of Embacher. Timmy Zeitz drops to 3rd, and Ren Nakaido's off the podium. How is this going to finish? Felix Hoffmann got away with the first round. 138.5 meters in the qualification earlier today. That's what he needs now to really throw the gauntlet down. Those are big meters. They're over 130. He's got the style. The backwind compensation is significant. This will be enough to give Felix Hoffmann the lead. Felix starting the day in 8th place in the World Cup. 3rd in Lillehammer and 2nd in Engelberg. 4 top 10s so far. 2nd yesterday.
Musste am Schluss den Bedingungen bedient sollen. Heute haben mindestens alle ein bisschen mit Hinspielen zu tun und deswegen kann er
Felix Hoffmann, Germany, ahead of Jonas Schuster and Stefan Embacher. Then Timmy Zeitz in 4th place, Ren Nikaido down to 5th, and Naoki Nakamura in 6th place. Still to come. Ryoyo Kobayashi, Kasper Tomasiak, Johan Andre Forfang, Philipp Raimund for Germany, and Domen Preutz for Slovenia. Japan, Poland, Norway, Germany and Slovenia all represented in this final phase. 5 points off the lead, less than 3 meters behind Ryoyo Kobayashi. Yesterday he was in a very strong position to win the competition, but dropped to 6th place. Kobe lying 2nd in the Viessmann World Cup rankings, over 200 points behind Domen Preutz, but he's been pretty consistent. But having said that, 1 victory in Lillehammer, 3 podiums. That's only 4 times on the podium out of 11 competitions before today. Well, out of the 10 before today. Green light on, here we go. 3 times a winner on this hill. And that's really challenging. That's right up there with Felix Hoffmann's distance. Style-wise is good, and the backwind compensation is strong. Gate 19, the same as Felix Hoffmann. Ryoyo Kobayashi maintains his position in the final round and pushes Felix Hoffmann down. Schuster will drop to 3rd, and Embacher will be off the podium. Kobe, very good effort. How good, we're about to find out. Kasper Tomasiak, this 18-year-old for Poland. So good in the Summer Continental Cup that he won. Consistent there. So far, 5th in Wiesla. 3 top 15s for this up-and-coming Pole who's out on the bar. Top 10 in the Junior Worlds last season. Half a meter is his advantage over Ryoyo Kobayashi. This for a lifetime best, better than 5th for a new personal best. Fantastic attempt. Now that's not 130 meters. This will not be enough to win him the day. But where will it leave him in terms of points, I wonder? Maybe the top 3. Is he gonna be? Yes, he is. Top 3. With 3 to come, which means 6 is the worst he can finish. And now Johan Andre Forfang. Really important. Forfang, no better than 10th in Klingenthal. 10th here yesterday. Season's best on the way, maybe. Short of the green line. That tells you everything. Now Tomasiak, 126.5. This is further. But Tomasiak, more backwind compensation. Forfang, an advantage of 1.5 meters over Tomasiak. And only 5th place. The compensation matters. And then there were 2, 1 for Germany, 1 for Slovenia. Nothing between them. At the halfway stage, Philipp Raimund to go ahead of Domen Preutz. Ryoyo Kobayashi knows that he's on the podium. He's back on the podium. Now, the only question is, which position? Philipp Raimund versus Ryoyo Kobayashi. An advantage of a couple of meters, that's all. Kobe at 132 meters. Backwind strong. Philippe Raymond. You could see how close he was to that green line. Fourth yesterday, looking for that first ever World Cup success. And he's 2 or 3 meters behind Kobe. The advantage he had over the Japanese rival evaporated, and he hasn't got the backwind compensation, and Kobe is now up to no worse than second place. Raymond goes third. Tomasiak off the podium in fourth place. One to come, which means Tomasiak will at least equal his personal best. A second time for the 18-year-old Pole that he will be in fifth place. And so do Domen Preutz, looking to make it 6 in a row. Here we go. Building the speed, 93 kilometers. The wind just easing off, easing off, easing off. Distance required, distance got. No telemark landing though, but he's got the meters. Kobayashi 132. Domen Preutz over 140. Now, there's a huge difference, 19 points difference in backwind compensation. That's 10 meters in favor of Kobayashi, which would take him from 132 to 142. And his style was better. And I have a feeling that Kobayashi has got the victory. 11 to 1 with the bookmakers before the day started. Domen bidding for a sixth success, but I think this may have gone to Japan. More than 310 points. 306, it's Japan, it's Ryoyo Kobayashi who takes the victory. His 37th success, his second victory of the season, and this competition, which has been tricky, has been difficult all the way. Ryoyo Kobayashi comes out to get 100 World Cup points. This has taken some management today. Well done to Borek Sedlak and the jury. This has not been easy, but Japan get the victory. Ryoyo Kobayashi defeats Domen Preutz. Felix Hoffmann on the podium yet again, ahead of his teammate Philippe Raymond. Tomasiak equals his personal best, ahead of Jonas Schuster, who almost equals his personal best. Johan Andre Forfang, a best of the season. Stefan Embacher in 8th place, a new hill record. Timmy Zeitz into the top 10, and likewise Nick Haido of Japan. Pavel Vasek in 13th place, that's a season's best for him as well. Nico Kitosaho in 16th place, just missing a top 15. Ilya Mizernik, let me check that, 22nd place for Mizernik. And that is a new personal best in terms of finish position for him. Sandro Hauswirth of Switzerland, 23rd. That's a new personal best as well. Yuri Kessely of Switzerland, 24th. A new personal best. So the 29-year-old superstar of Japanese ski jumping, Ryoyo Kobayashi, on top again.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch und Sie, meine verehrten Damen und Herren, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer, Sie bleiben gerne natürlich hier noch.
The 11 to 1 bookmakers offer, defeating Domen Preutz, the 5 to 4 favourite, with Felix Hoffmann in third place, the 5 to 2 second favourite. So, as ever, the boys are off at this moment in time for the compulsory equipment checks. That'll take a few minutes. Well, I've got a question in here from Jana. You're asking how is it that an athlete has one great season and then the next season they seem to have lost their body position, and it's, I have to say, Jana, it's a bit of a mystery. Sometimes it's like a light switch going out. And you've seen, for example, with Andrzej Lanasek, two very good victories in Falun and in Ruka, and then suddenly losing his way in Klingenthal, and he's still not back to that winning form. And we're talking about millimeters. I'll just pause there, just the new World Cup standings. Domen Preelts, despite being pushed back into second place, still the best part of 200 points ahead of Ryoyo Kobayashi in the season-long rankings. Andrzej Lanasek clinging on to third place, but he's now 3 whole competitions behind. Philip Raimund up into fourth place ahead of Ren Nikaido. And in the Nations Cup, Austria, their advantage over Slovenia now down to 99 points through all the good work that Domen Preelts has been doing. Japan into third place ahead of Germany and Norway in the season-long Nations Cup. And Kobayashi, by the way, interesting here, just a reflection of points. Ryoyo Kobayashi, as you see the journey that we're on, defeating Domen Preelts by 3.6 points, which is 2 meters. Now, Domen only got 16s and 17s for style. Now, had he got 18, which he's capable of getting, he would have got an extra 6 points, and that would have made the difference. So he got the meters 141. Had he got the telemark, despite the fact that the backwind compensation wasn't as strong for him, he would have just nicked the victory. But without the telemark, that just shows you how important that telemark landing can be. And just to come back to Jana, yeah, it happens that athletes go in and out of form. Stefan Kraft is a good example. Sometimes it's physical. With him, it's been back problems, but he's overcome them. For everyone, it's different. And just to also add my congratulations once again to Nika Preelts. It seems that they alternate. It looks as if it was going to be a day when both Nika and Domen would succeed. But Nika winning the competition today, the second one at Engelberg, handsomely, actually 284 points ahead of Anna Ström of Norway. Katarina Schmidt in third place ahead of Agnes Reich of Germany. That's a good result for her. Yuka Seto of Japan ahead of Nozomi Maruyama, who lost her way in the first round in difficult conditions, but then came back from 14th at the halfway stage to finish in 6th place and still lead the overall Women's World Cup. And of course the women, they're heading to what they call the two hills competition, Oberstdorf and Garmisch, whereas the men heading for the 4 hills. And of course, plenty to look forward to on FIS TV. Of course, the Four Hills, for which we would really appreciate you joining us. But the Tour de Ski will be underway in the cross country and the Nordic Combined as well. So a lot of great Nordic sports still to come. Photographers just gathering, podium is ready. Just a question of clearing the top 3 athletes. Yeah, just another reflection on the Women's World Cup. Selina Freitag had a tumble. Hopefully the talented German athlete will be okay. So just a reminder that Oberstdorf, 28th of December after the holidays. Qualification in Oberstdorf will also on that day be bringing you the Engelberg Continental Cup competition. And then 29th for Oberstdorf proper, the first round of the Viessmann with the head-to-head duels. Then, of course, on New Year's Eve in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, we'll have the qualification for Garmisch and New Year's Day for Garmisch-Partenkirchen. From Garmisch, we move to the Austrian Tyrol. 3rd of January in Innsbruck on the Bergisel for qualification. 4th of January for the competition. 5th of January for qualification in Bischofshofen. And 6th for the finale of the Viessmann. And whilst all that's happening, the women, well, they would have done their 2 hills competitions in Garmisch-Partenkirchen and Oberstdorf, and they will move to Villach for the 5th and 6th of January, and then to that exceptionally good venue, Lubno, on the 9th and 11th. Well, it always seems to take a little bit longer than you would wish. But as I said, the equipment control has to be, under the circumstances after last season's problems, has to be 100%. So 15,000 Swiss francs will come Ryu Kobayashi's way. That'll take him up to winnings of about 100,000. When I say Swiss francs, actually, I need to correct that because the prize money this season is in euros, so it's 100,000 euros. Of course, that doesn't take into account the earnings from his sponsorship and support. So, thank you for your patience. I think we're almost there. Signal coming through from Horst Nielgen that we should... disappointment is that we haven't had any words from Ryoyo Kobayashi. He's perfectly capable of giving us a few words, even in English. He is now going to be one of the big favourites for the Vierschanzen, and remember, he is a man who's won it. He's done the Grand Slam, so we're almost ready. It would be really nice to hear from Kobe and Ryoyo Kobayashi, and indeed, it would be nice to have a few words from Kento Sakoyama, the head coach for Japan. Well, the crowd's evaporated, I'm afraid, here. We are somewhat behind in terms of schedule. Wasn't quite sure that we'd be about 6:30 in the evening, but there'll be a number of people who will need to get their train back to Lucerne. But everything in Engelberg really gearing up for a super Christmas. The main streets and the hotels, they really look terrific. Well, I always have a little concern when it takes this length of time, but I think we're nearly there now. I think everything's all right. Yes, it is. Everything okay? Everybody's passed the examination. Well, you do get the feeling that Felix Hoffmann isn't too far away from getting that elusive first World Cup success. Today, a third career podium. And the coaching and support teams coming out.
Engelberg, der zweite Wettkampf der Männer. Heute Abend wir kommen zur Siegerehrung für Deutschland. Auf dem dritten Platz Felix Hoffmann.
So Felix Hoffmann back on the podium.
Second, der zweite, representing Slovenia,
Domen Preutz finds himself unusually in second place. But for the second time this season, Ryoyo Kobayashi takes the victory to add to his early season success in Lillehammer.
Folgende Persönlichkeiten werden nun die Preise übergeben. Dem Sieger, Regierungsrat des Kantons Obwalden, Leitung Bau- und Raumentwicklungsdepartement.
So just a reminder that as a result of today's competition, Domen Preutz continues to lead the World Cup by 199 points from Ryoyo Kobayashi. Andrzej Lanasek is in third place ahead of Philipp Raimund. And then in fifth, Ren Nikaido ahead of the German teammate Felix Hoffmann. Stefan Kraft in seventh place ahead of Daniel Schöffenig. Dan Hurl in ninth, and Stefan Embacher, today's new hill record holder here in Engelberg, in 10th place. So another set of mementos to add to the trophy cabinet. And well done to these fans for hanging on, family and friends in many cases. But you can see in the background there's a good many of the fans who've actually stayed, which is great. So to bring our first period of Viessmann World Cup of ski jumping to conclusion, it will be the national anthem of Japan to recognize Kobe's second victory of the season, his 37th career win. So we've come to the end of our first period, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being with us on FIS TV. And on behalf of FIS TV, let me take this opportunity to wish all of you a very, very happy Christmas. Enjoy the holidays, and do join us on the 28th for the Continental Cup in Engelberg, and also the qualification for Oberstdorf. Time for us to take our leave. Safe journey home. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great Christmas. From FIS TV, bye-bye from Engelberg.